Okay. What is going on, guys? We got to get some music up in here. Kind of rushing right now because, of course, we're getting this late news right before I go live. So I have to edit the Patreon and stuff. But, you know, if you guys didn't already hear, Fred VanVleet, a late scratch. So with him being out, Goran Dragic already announced as the starter, which is interesting because he has not even been in the rotation. So I was originally thinking it was going to be Delano Banton, who has been the direct backup to Fred VanVleet so far. But with Dragic starting, you know, I feel very comfortable with him playing at least mid-20s minutes. And that is more than enough to get it done for Goran Dragic. Because Goran Dragic is an extremely high point per minute player. And yeah, I mean, obviously it gives a boost to OG Anunoby as well. You know, we get some more usage spread out. But I think that Dragic, as long as he's on the court, is going to, you know, take over a ton of that usage. So I like Goran Dragic a ton today. I think you should be playing him pretty much everywhere you possibly can. I am trying to get everything fixed. But man, we got 5 core plays over on Draftkings on the Patreon right now, and it might be 6 depending on the news with Al Horford. As we know, Jaylen Brown and Al Horford are still questionable right now. I think Jaylen Brown definitely doesn't play, and I think Al Horford is leaning more on the doubtful side, just because this is the second leg of a back-to-back. It did just go into overtime, and, you know, they typically like to sit Al Horford on back-to-back, so that would make Robert Williams probably, you know, if Neto and Dragic weren't on the slate, the best point per dollar play on the slate, but he is definitely up there. Gonna want to get some exposure to Robert Williams if Al Horford is ruled out. Obviously, that game starts an hour after lock, so we might get that after lock, and you can create some edge right there by playing Robert Williams. Okay, the DraftKings sheet is going up right now. The new one, that is. Any prize picks you like? Yeah, so as soon as we got news on Fred VanVleet, we went ahead and hopped on the over OG Anunoby fantasy points. That already went live. Somebody asked me in the Discord right before this. I didn't get a chance to answer, but they were talking about Brandon Ingram over 26 fantasy points. Now, it is a great matchup for him. If he was healthy, I'd be all over it. But he is on a minutes restriction, so you know, it's really hard to gauge what that minutes restriction is. Maybe they let him play 30 minutes. Maybe they only play him 18 to 20 minutes. So don't really know. More of a guessing game. But I will admit 26 fantasy points is pretty low. My favorite play on the board as of right now is probably Wendell Carter Jr. over 32 fantasy points in this matchup against the Washington Wizards. He should continue to play big minutes, and I think he torches this team. We have him over on FanDuel. I think it's a very good spot for him. Actually, OG Anunoby, is this correct? He's still there at 32.5. I would take the over on OG right there. I like him quite a bit. Dragic, Neto, Dinwiddie for GPP. For GPP, yeah, probably, but man, it's hard for me to not create a lineup that doesn't include Dinwiddie. OG's up to 35. Wow. So, you know, Pascal Siakam is sitting at 33.5. He's on a minutes restriction. I know VanVleet is out, but I mean, I guess he did just play 30 minutes the last time he played. Then he missed the last game. That's definitely interesting on Siakam. I would actually lean the under on Pascal Siakam fantasy points. I don't know if I'm going to put any money on it, but I do lean the under. Okay, let's update this FanDuel lineup because we're going to want to get some exposure to my man, Goran Dragic. Can you fade Dinwiddie? In my opinion, no. You know, there is the best values on the slate right now are at point guard, and where we're talking about DraftKings, Neto and Goran Dragic are 2 of the best value plays on the entire slate. They are the best value plays on the slate, and they are point guard only. So if you play both of those guys, you only have one more spot for point guard, and that's the utility spot. So whether you use it on Dinwiddie or you try to get different, that's probably the way you're going to want to go, playing all 3 of them. UFC needs to stop having these goddamn events so early. Taylor going live with Max about to smash this kid this time. You know, yeah, it's brutal, man. Brutal, because I am a very big UFC fan, if you guys didn't know. So having these cards midday is just pretty frustrating for me. Okay. And man, they made Paul George just super affordable over on FanDuel. I mean, $10,000 for Paul George is a gift from the gods. I don't really understand that pricing. Go. Man, I'm 300 off the lineup I really want. Kuz, thoughts? Yeah, I mean, I think all the Wizards are in amazing spots today. I would rank them in how much I like them. Dinwiddie first, then Neto, then Kuzma, and then Aaron Holiday. Abrasive, what's up, man? Message retracted. Fourth quarter tonight, of course. Oh, actually, it's Saturday. Sorry, guys. I take Saturdays off from in-game. But actually, I was looking at the in-game, and I might as well go ahead and play that. But if you guys are part of the in-game group, I mean, we smashed last night. I think we beat pretty much everything. So, if, in fact, we... in case I play, I'll let you guys know. Usually I take Saturdays off though, but I do like playing Clippers showdowns personally, especially with Zubats being well in the rotation now. So we might end up changing some things up. I just got a message from Patreon. Do you still love J-Val with Ingram in? Yes, I still love J-Val tonight. I think the spot is amazing. That's why I like him so much. And Ingram being back obviously is not a good thing, but he is on a minutes restriction, so I'm okay with going away from him. I'm okay with playing Jonas Valanciunas still. It really doesn't bother me that much. If Ingram was playing at his full capacity, then I would be somewhat concerned. But again, his price is just so affordable that it's hard for me not to get to him. Trez too expensive on FanDuel. What is he on FanDuel? He's like, I have it up right here. 7,900. Yeah, that's probably a bit too expensive for me. But if he continues, if he continues to close out these lineups, close out these games and play 28, 30 minutes, I mean, he can easily pay off that price tag. We know how good he is on a permanent basis. The Gouge's price tag, yeah. How many Wizards can you play on FanDuel? I have Neto, Dinwiddie, and Kuz all the same, and is that too many? No, it's only a 6-game slate, and those are like the clear best values with no Bradley Beal out there. And not only that, they get a matchup against the Orlando Magic, who are just dreadful on defense. And this game should stay competitive with no Bradley Beal, because the Wizards aren't a good team anyways. And now you take away Beal, this game should be competitive. Devontae Graham, not really on Devontae with Brandon Ingram out. So I think Ingram being back hurts Devontae Graham the most, because we saw before he got injured, it was Graham and him pretty much evenly splitting the assist percentage down the middle. And so that's going to take a ton of the assist opportunities away from Devontae Graham. I don't think it really takes away usage or rebounding numbers away from Jonas Valanciunas. J-Val revenge game. Yep. How many minutes do we think Dragic gets? Yeah, so it's hard to really gauge, but the fact that he's in the starting lineup, I'm just going to go ahead and assume that we see like a minimum of like 26, 28 minutes. But there's definitely upside for more. I really don't think that they would start him and then just give all the run to Delano Banton off the bench. Bev or Neto. If I had the money, I would still go Neto there. But, you know, it is closer. If you have the leftover money, going up to Bev isn't the worst idea. I think Beverly is in a great spot today. JV or Drummond on FanDuel going to be JV for me. Garland. Yeah, I like Garland. I think the Cavs ran an 8-man rotation last time, and Garland's going to be one of the guys that's going to play like mid to high 30s minutes every night. If Ingram doesn't play, Pelicans may get smoked. Ingram is playing. He's just on a minutes restriction, so yeah. Report says LeVert won't play high 30s. What a report. So it sounds like he's playing normal minutes. Well, I guess when you're playing for the Pacers, you know, Brogdon and Sabonis like playing massive minutes, even with a new coach. But yeah, I mean, if LeVert's playing like 30, 32 minutes, like that really just hurts everybody else. I mean, I guess he's a decent play in his own right at 6,900 over on FanDuel, or on Draftkings rather. Can you rank the Raptors? Yeah, it's Dragic first, and then Gary Trent Jr., just based off salary, then OG Anunoby, then Scotty Barnes, and then Siakam. Do Do you know why is Allen so low on price picks? Yeah, I thought Jared Allen was pretty low. I know he had 2 like subpar games in a row. But man, he should be continuing to play like 40 minutes a game. So yeah, I think Jared Allen's projection is a bit too low over on price picks. So Levert, Hurts, Brogdon, upside right, correct. Yeah, gonna take away a lot of usage, a lot of ball handling responsibilities, less assists. So yeah. On Birch on DK. So yeah, the situation with Birch, so with the Toronto Raptors, Siakam is back. The last time he played 2 games ago, he played 30 minutes. Precious Achiuwa was the main guy off the bench for him. But Ken Birch was out that game. Now this game, Precious Achiuwa is out. Ken Birch is back. Pascal Siakam is also back, but he is on a minutes restriction. So I don't think he exceeds 30 minutes. And I think Ken Birch gets all the backup minutes. But I don't think that he really gets backup 4 minutes. So if Siakam is just playing, I guess Siakam can play at the 4 too. So, Birch could realistically play like 22 to 26 minutes, like somewhere in that range as the backup 5. And Siakam is going to play some minutes at the 4 as well. So, especially without Fred VanVleet. So that actually opens up more minutes for Ken Birch. Ken Birch is an interesting option to say the least. Is Josh Hart a good play today? With Brandon Ingram back, I am no longer on Josh Hart, especially since they've been giving him more minutes. Max just lost round 1. She's got worked. Really? Was it all standing up? That's wild. Because I think Max was Max was crazy, like, high odds. OG and Schroeder, Wendell Carter, and D'Lo. Definitely OG and Schroeder. Bev and Triple J or Trent and Batum. Bev and Triple J there. Not really on Batum. Any interest in Boucher? I would have been all over Chris Boucher when I heard that Achiuwa was out, but Ken Birch is back, so I'm not really on him. Still like Dennis. I love Dennis Schroeder tonight. I love him. Favorite 7K player, DK? Probably Wendell Carter Jr. Cole Anthony a good play on FanDuel? I'm not really on Cole Anthony. The only guys that I'm targeting from the Orlando Magic are the bigs with Mo Bamba and Wendell Carter Jr., specifically Wendell Carter. Favorite DK GPP play, spend up? Probably Jonas Valanciunas. I don't know how owned he's going to be today. I think Ingram being back is going to scare some people off of him. So yeah, it's probably Jonas. Dennis and OG or D'Lo and Wendell Carter Jr. Like, damn, that's tough. Yeah, that's like super tough. I want to lean the Dennis OG side. But also, I think the Wendell Carter D'Lo side will be lower owned. I just don't envision people playing D'Angelo Russell. Birch or Neto? Definitely Neto for me. Still liking Valanciunas on a revenge game against former team. Yeah, I still love Jonas Valanciunas tonight. J-Val went to a better team. I don't think he can be too mad. Yeah, really. That's the funniest things with revenge teams. Like, they go from the Cavaliers to, like, the Lakers or something. I don't know how much revenge they have out for them. Again, guys, I wanted to mention this. Yeah, if Al Horford is ruled out, which I think there is a good chance, you are going to want to play Robert Williams. You just are going to want to play him.
Advertising is based on one thing: happiness. And you know what happiness is? Happiness is the smell of a new car. It's freedom from fear.
Barnes or D'Lo? Going to be D'Lo for me. Can you put the link to the live stream on Twitter by chance? Yeah, I got you, man. Let me do that right now. Actually, thank you for reminding me too, because I needed to get this tweet out. I'm posting this right now. Dude, it scared me when I got the notifications that Damian Lillard was out Saturday. I'm like, what? Dude, I've been looking at this slate all day. I didn't even know Portland was on the slate. And then I was like, oh, they meant tomorrow. D'Lo has been having really nice potential assists lately. Yeah, and his minutes it's mostly due to his minutes being up. And it's weird because he's playing a lot next to Patrick Beverley, another point guard. Now, obviously, Beverley's not really facilitating the offense, but just weird that another guard's next to him and his potential assists are on the rise. So, I mean, definitely a positive for D'Angelo Russell. Him being at 7,000 is just like very, very enticing. Thoughts on PG-13? Yeah, I think PG-13 pretty much a must play today. There's so much value. It's so easy to get up to him, and there's not very many studs on the slate, and he's just clearly the number one pay-up option on the slate. It's very, very easy to get to him. D'Lo or Dinwiddie? Wow, I'd probably go with Dinwiddie there. Thoughts on Dragic and Boucher? Not really on Boucher with Ken Birch playing, but I do like Dragic a lot. Smart or Zubats? I'm going to go with Zubats there. Bamba or Robert Williams if Horford is out? Definitely Robert Williams. Can you fade Neto? You could, I think now that with the Dragic stuff, I think you can fade Neto. Yeah, I think it's definitely possible. Definitely viable. And, you know, I think Robert Williams is a good play regardless of, okay, this FanDuel lineup actually works out perfectly. Okay. So then I'm sending out the new FanDuel lineup right now to Patreon people. If Al Horford is ruled in, I have the perfect 2v2 pivot. So we will be A-okay. But even then, I think Robert Williams is in a good spot regardless. Is Avdia a good play? No, I'm not really on Avdia today. No Denny for me. Thoughts on Dylan Brooks? So Dylan Brooks is playing, but he's on a minutes restriction, so I don't think that he's playing past the mid-20s mark, so I'm not on him at all today. Him being back really just ruins things for guys like Desmond Bane, Kyle Anderson, the wings for that Memphis team. Okay, the new FanDuel lineup is up. Okay. We can finally go about this stream as we usually do. I mean, man, this news keeps coming out right before I go live, so I have to kind of just pause and take care of things. My screen's a little messed up. Why no interest in Cat? It's just like a pricing thing. In the roster construction that I'm going with today, most of the time on Draftkings, I'm playing 3-point guards, and so that takes up my utility spot. And I like Jonas Valanciunas just more, so it's only a 6-game slate. Have to really take your stands there. I don't mind Cat. I would just prefer getting down to the cheaper centers like Wendell Carter Jr., Jonas Valanciunas, Zubats. Zubats is just like a very, very sneaky play today. We saw them play the same exact Minnesota Timberwolves team with Karl Anthony Towns just a week ago, and he played 34 and 31 minutes against them. And then the last couple of games, they could have gone small, but they have been very adamant about playing Zubats and Isaiah Hartenstein all 48 center minutes. So if we're going to continue to see Zubats play around 30 minutes with upside and more against this Karl Anthony Towns Timberwolves team, he's just way too cheap. Just way too cheap. About a fantasy point per minute player, and he's going to be playing 30 plus minutes, and he's only $5,000. So yeah, definitely interesting. And then also, I want to leave spots open because if Al Horford is ruled out, I'm going to want to have as much Robert Williams as I possibly can get. Thoughts on Max? I think Max is probably a bit too expensive. Do you like Cunningham tonight? Yeah, I mean, Cunningham continues to lead this team in usage. His assist percentage is like 17%, which is promising a good total rebound percentage. But his true shooting has been pretty bad to begin the year. But once that shooting starts to come around, I mean, this guy is going to have some very big games, and he's only $5,600. And luckily, he comes at a shooting guard position today on DraftKings, where you can use him with the other 3 obvious point guards today. Would you rather pay up for Tatum or Drummond on FanDuel? Probably Tatum, just because it's a weaker position. No one talking about Franz Wagner. Am I high for liking him today? No, I mean, his minutes have definitely been there. I didn't think his minutes would really stick with Gary Harris returning, but they are. So if he's going to continue to play 32 minutes, he's been performing well lately, but some of the things are like very uncharacteristic, because I think his last game, he had like 5 steals. Let me turn my screen. So you were talking about Wagner. Yeah, he's 4,800. Yeah, he had 6 steals last game. Really just like buoyed his fantasy production. He's a fine play. I would just much rather at this position find some extra money to get up to a guy like Gary Trent Jr. with no Fred VanVleet. Should have some extra shots to go around this game, as well as his minutes are very secure in like that mid to high 30s minutes, and they may like lean on him a bit more with no Fred VanVleet. VanVleet really like the glue of that team. What's going on, Hunter? LeVert or D'Lo? Got to be D'Lo. LeVert, I just really can't trust his minutes with him being on a minutes restriction, so it's hard for me to get there. Neto or Dragic? Yeah, man, that's tough. If I had to choose just one, I mean, I'm probably going Neto. I don't know. It's tough. Actually, I take that back. It's probably Dragic. It's probably Dragic there. Very tough. FanDuel GPP, Trez, Schroeder, or D'Lo and Wendell Carter Jr. Definitely the D'Lo, Wendell Carter Jr. side. Pat Bev revenge game. Yeah, I mean, he's already faced them twice recently, and I mean, we could take a look at those games. Didn't he get ejected in one of them? So yeah, I mean, he had a really good performance in the first game. Then the second game blew out, and he scored 14 fantasy points. But this game right here, this game blew out, but he was on pace to play 30 plus minutes again. So, you know, we should be expecting 31, 32 minutes out of Patrick Beverley with upside of more each and every night with this small lineup that they're running. So yeah, I mean, Patrick Beverley is a very interesting play. I was much more interested in him before the Dragic news, because I was like, oh, I could throw him in there with Neto and Dinwiddie. But now with Dragic, it's like those 3 guys are just clearly better value plays than Beverley. But he would be probably the 4th point guard option for me today. Very affordable, obviously. Thoughts on D'Lo? Yeah, I think D'Lo is too cheap. Dinwiddie, Bledsoe, Trent, Tatum, Williams, Neto, George, Dragic. Yeah, love that. Yeah, if we get the Al Horford being out, I mean, we are going to be raking in the cash, because I feel like pretty confident that he's going to end up missing this game. He's already sat out a back-to-back once this year. The other back-to-back he played, but this game, it went into overtime last night. He didn't play that, but he was dealing with some back soreness, so I just think that there's a really good chance that he ends up sitting out here. And with the size of the Cleveland Cavaliers, they are really going to need to play Robert Williams as many minutes as they possibly can get out of him. So as long as he can avoid foul trouble, he's probably playing like 36 minutes tonight, assuming that he's out. Curry, Bev, PG-13, Niang, Tatum, Zubats, and either Neto or Dragic for GPP. Niang is an interesting play for sure with Tobias being back. That team is a lot healthier and a lot more expensive. But man, I like everything about that outside of really Curry and Niang. But you're talking tournament, I think that's fine. And then if you're playing tournaments, I think I'd go Dragic over Neto. I think Neto would be higher owned than Dragic. I think. Boucher in play. Yeah, I don't know if Boucher is necessarily in play anymore because Siakam is back and so is Khem Birch. So he played. Okay, let's look at this. So last game there was no Siakam and no Khem Birch, and Boucher played 24 minutes. Now there's no Precious, but we get Siakam back and we get Khem Birch back. So you know his minutes probably come back down to like the mid-teens unless Chris Boucher is hopping over Khem Birch in the rotation, which we have no indication that has happened. But if that did happen, then yeah, he'd be definitely in play. But it's really just a guessing game right now with Chris Boucher. Nick Nurse is pretty unpredictable with things like that. Yeah. I mean, he's very unpredictable. I mean, Delano Banton has been the direct backup this entire season, and Dragic has been out of the rotation, but now Dragic is the starter the first time that Fred VanVleet is ruled out. So, pretty unpredictable stuff. I think there is definitely upside in Chris Boucher, but your guess is as good as mine if he's going to play above Ken Birch. But I would guess that Ken Birch would likely be the direct backup to Pascal Siakam here. Is Dragic playing 30 minutes tonight? I think he plays mid-20s minutes, but I definitely think that if he's running well, he could play like 32 minutes tonight. But I think that we should expect somewhere from 26-28 minutes out of him, which is a lot for Goran Dragic, especially given his price. Any love for Kuzma? Yeah, I love Kuzma today. I love the Washington Wizards today since Bradley Beal. So we get Dinwiddie, Neto, and Kyle Kuzma. I think they're all in great spots. I think Aaron Holiday more of a secondary play, especially with the Dragic thing opening up. I know Aaron Holiday is starting, but I definitely prefer Raul Neto to Aaron Holiday 10 out of 10 times. So, yeah, I mean, I would have been more on Aaron Holiday if the Dragic news didn't drop. Drummond or Val at raw points? Definitely Val for me. Yang Zhang, thank you so much for the sub. If you guys haven't subscribed already, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Let's get these likes up. I'm here every single day, Saturday, Sunday, does not matter. I'm here an hour before lock, as well as dropping my video daily. So if you guys could drop some likes, subscriptions, and that is the #1 way of supporting me. OG Anunoby or Kuzma on FanDuel. If you have the money to get up to OG, I'd prefer OG, but the savings on Kyle Kuzma is going to make me get a lot more Kuzma. So I prefer Kuzma point per dollar wise, but if you have the leftover money, I would go up to OG. Mobley or Carter on FanDuel. I'm going to go with Carter there. Any Celtics value if Horford is out. So yeah, I mean, we would definitely see some guys like Grant Williams probably get into the rotation. He has been playing quite a bit this year, regardless of any injuries, and some of these games that Horford was out, he played like 31, 25, 24 minutes in these games with other guys out, and Jaylen Brown should be out as well, so he's not the worst play at $3,100. Also, Josh Richardson is a game time decision as well, so that could open up even more minutes, but what it's going to do the most of is just really secure the minutes of Marcus Smart, Dennis Schroeder, Tatum, Robert Williams. That's what I'm really focusing on with those injuries. I'm not really trying to dive deep for value plays since we are given such great value plays regardless of that Celtics game. Any KCP, no KCP for me. Him being without Bradley Beal doesn't really affect all that much for me. Gainmore, thank you so much for the sub. Because, he doesn't really get much extra usage. He's just kind of a stand in the corner 3 kind of guy. Plays defense. That's his game. High usage offensive players being ruled out doesn't really affect KCP. And actually, with Bradley Beal being out, people are going to flock to KCP at a weak position. And yeah, that's not going to be me today. Dragic or Neto? I slightly lean Dragic there. Thoughts on Gafford? Yeah, so I think... okay, so the starting lineup for the Pelicans is going to be Devontae Graham, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, Josh Hart, Brandon Ingram, and Jonas Valanciunas. We know Ingram is going to be on a minutes limit, so staying away from him. Still love Jonas Valanciunas. Don't really like everybody else. Razor Tricks, thank you so much for the sub. Where were we at? What was the question? Do you like prize picks or do you like Williams on prize picks if Horford gets ruled out? Yeah, so I'm like just ready for whenever Al Horford gets ruled out. You could place it right now. I feel pretty strongly that he's going to end up getting ruled out, but you could take the over on Robert Williams as soon as Al Horford gets ruled out. I think he's in a very good spot over here on prize picks. You get a 3 points for steals and blocks, and Robert Williams gets that a lot. So I like Robert Williams a ton over here. The over. You could pair with Paul George over. I like that a lot. I actually lean the Ivica Zubats over as well at 27.5 fantasy points. I think this last game is actually going to be a lot higher scoring than people believe, and these projections are pretty low for these guys, especially Cat, Paul George, and Zubats, in my opinion. Any interest in Stewart? So yeah, the deal with Isaiah Stewart with Detroit is, man, with no Kelly Olynyk, his minutes should be very, very secure. Luka Garza is back from the G League, so he's the direct backup. We saw last game with Isaiah Stewart. So the deal with Isaiah Stewart is like he's a very good per minute fantasy player, but he cannot keep his hands to himself. He is always in foul trouble. I play Kelly Olynyk a lot just because I know that Isaiah Stewart is likely going to get into some foul trouble. And if he can avoid foul trouble, he's a great play because he should be playing big minutes with no Kelly Olynyk. So $4,400 is too cheap for him. But if he's going to continue to get into foul trouble like he did last game, he picked up 2 fouls in the first 4 minutes and then pretty much sat the entire first half, which really just like plummeted his fantasy production. If he can avoid that foul trouble, yeah, he's an amazing play at 4,400, but you need to know the risk that he is likely going to get into some foul trouble and have his minutes cut back. But at 4,400, especially when people were burned by him yesterday, people are going to be off of him. So his ownership is going to be a lot lower than it should be on a 6-game slate. So there is some interest in Isaiah Stewart for sure. He's on the sheet right now, but as a volatile tournament only option for me, wouldn't touch him in cash games. Dragic or Neto, I'd slightly lean Dragic. Dinwiddie or Kuzma. Dinwiddie for sure. What you think about Temple tonight? Not on Temple with Brandon Ingram back. Dragic, Schroeder, Neto, Kuzma. Who do I fade on FanDuel? Out of those 4, I would probably fade Neto. Just because point guard is a bit more stacked and you can find a better replacement. The other option would be Kuzma, but the Kuzma is at a very weak position. So I would just play Kuzma. Tatum and Zubac or Dinwiddie and Ingram. Tatum and Zubac. I'm not touching Ingram with him being on a minutes limit. Any Danny Green love? No Danny Green love. Not subscribing or liking is just the ultimate laziness. Appreciate that, Bone. I didn't know where that comment was going, but then it ended up being supporting. I thought you were talking about me. I was like, damn. I thought you were saying that you weren't subscribing or you weren't liking anything. But I appreciate that. Jared Allen or OG. Slightly Jared Allen there over OG. Valanciunas or Drummond. Raw points. I like Valanciunas more. Ja, Edwards, Dinwiddie, PG-13, Niang, T-Ross, Zubac, bad for GPP, Niang. All I got there unless I pivot to Boucher. I would almost just play Boucher there. I think there's more upside with that because I think there's a good chance that Boucher ends up... not a good chance, but a better chance than Niang of playing big minutes. Trey Lyles on no Olynyk blowout possibility. Yeah, so Trey, before last game, it just didn't seem like he was going to get very many minutes, even with him being out, because Kelly Olynyk has been the direct backup to Isaiah Stewart only. He doesn't play at the 4, and Trey Lyles has been the backup to the 4 spot. So Olynyk being out actually doesn't help Lyles at all, and Luka Garza has been the direct backup to Isaiah Stewart last game, so I'm expecting the same here. Don't really expect an uptick in minutes for Trey Lyles without Kelly Olynyk. George or Tatum? Definitely George for me. Thoughts on Gafford? So yeah, Gafford's a pretty interesting spot. Al Horford a game time decision. That's funny. He's not playing. I feel pretty confident in that, but you know, if I'm wrong, it is what it is. We'll pivot. But yeah, Daniel Gafford. So he is $4,400. Last year, he averaged nearly 1.3 fantasy points per minute over the course of the entire season. So obviously a very good fantasy option. They're going to need him or Montrezl Harrell to turn it up defensively somehow to match the size of Mo Bamba and Wendell Carter. One of these games, he is going to play really well, and he's going to close out the game, because that's the only difference between him and Montrez right now, is that both of them have been playing good fantasy-wise, but Daniel Gafford has only been playing like 22 minutes to like the 26 minutes for Montrezl Harrell, and sometimes it's thinner, sometimes it's wider. Josh Richardson officially ruled out. Yeah, this could be a really thin game for the Celtics. But yeah, if Gafford could close the game over Montrezl Harrell, he would be looking really, really nice at 4,400, and literally nobody's going to play him. For you, Osman or Dragic? Definitely Dragic. Morant, Kennard, or Tatum, Dragic. Let's go with Tatum, Dragic there. Tatum, Zubac, or Dinwiddie and Edwards. I guess if you ask the question 10 times, I'm likely to see it. Tatum, Zubac, or Dinwiddie and Edwards. Let's go with... that's close. I'm probably going to go with Tatum, Zubac there, honestly. I'm not really on Edwards today. Dinwiddie, Russell, Kuzma, Wendell Carter, Time Lord, Dragic, PG-13, Neto, GPP, DK. I love that lineup. And I don't even think that's necessarily a tournament team. I mean, obviously it has like crazy upside, but I think that's safe for cash games. So, Brandon, that lineup is looking real nice. Is it Ingram on minutes restriction? You are correct. Neto and Edwards or D'Lo and Schroeder. I'm gonna go with D'Lo and Schroeder there. Do you like Joval over 40 on fantasy on Prize Picks? Yeah, I do. Did his number come down? Because if that number came down from 44 to 40 just because Ingram is back due to and he's on a minutes restriction, oh my, they did bring it down. I like the over on Joval still. I think this is too low. Definitely too low. We'll find somebody to pair him with. I'd still like the Wendell Carter too. It's over 32 fantasy points. Yeah, I'm liking that as well. Jay Rich out. Yep, Barnes or Carter. I like Carter more. Thoughts on Sabonis? Not really on Sabonis with LeVert back. I think the usage really needs to be there for him because the assist percentage is slowly going away with Brogdon back, with TJ McConnell playing a lot more. And TJ McConnell will continue to play next to Brogdon and or Karis LeVert. So, I mean, Sabonis' assist opportunities are plummeting. His usage is coming down. So, yeah, Sabonis is trending downwards pretty fast. What's going on, Richard? Tatum, PG JVal, or Tatum JVal? PG JVal for me. Dinwiddie, Bledsoe, Kuzma, Tatum, Gafford, Neto, George, Dragic. I like it. Still JVal. Yep, still love JVal. Best 4.4K for shooting guard or forward on DK. Let's take a look. Shooting guard or forward, 4.4K or below. Man, if Dylan Brooks wasn't playing, it'd be pretty easy on Kyle Anderson. Or if it was a guard spot, I'd take Beverly. A bit of a tougher spot right here. Man, that's tough. I honestly probably lean Kentavious Caldwell-Pope right there as like the best raw projected person. No love for Harold. No, not really at that price. I think that there's much better center plays on the slate. Oh yeah, Brace. I didn't even read your second message, but yeah, KCP. Dragic, D'Lo, Schroeder, Dinwiddie, Kuzma, PG-13, Wendell Carter, Robert Williams, and JVal. Love it, man. Love it. Neto, Trent, Tatum, Kuz, Time Lord, Dragic, PG Zubats. Love it. Would you spend up for a D'Lo over Cunningham? Yeah, if you have the money, I would. I am just waiting. Waiting and waiting for this Al Horford news. Why are we on Wendell? It's the #1 matchup in the entire NBA against front courts. Wendell Carter, his minutes are very, very secure. And this game should be competitive. Not many of these, a lot of the times these Orlando guys are in good spots, but there's such a worry looming that the games are going to blow out. But feel pretty confident that this Bradley Beal-less Washington Wizards team should keep it competitive with the Orlando Magic or vice versa. Thoughts on Evan Mobley? Yeah, Mobley's going to play big minutes again tonight. They ran just an 8-man rotation last time, and Mobley, Allen, and Darius Garland are going to play the most minutes on that team. So they could play 38, 40 minutes every night until Kevin Love, Larry Markkinen, and these guys return. Barnes and Chico. I'm not sure who Gigolo is. Cole Anthony tonight, not from me. PG or Tatum straight up? Definitely PG. How is Neto, Schroeder, Dinwiddie, George, Tobias Harris, Kuzma, Robert Williams, Mobley, Bamba, FanDuel? Yeah, as long as Al Horford is out, I can get behind that lineup for sure. It's just like, I'm not really on Tobias, but Tobias came back and he was playing his full minutes, so he's definitely in play. You like Bamba more? Yeah, well, I slightly prefer Wendell Carter to Bamba, but if we're talking straight up on DraftKings, Bamba is center only, where Wendell Carter has forward eligibility, which really opens things up for him. Tatum, Ja, or PG, definitely PG for me. D'Lo and Wendell Carter, or Schroeder and OG. Let's go with OG and Schroeder there. Would you pair Val with Morant on Prize Picks? Yeah, you could do that. What is Morant sitting at? 42 fantasy points? Yeah, and it correlates well because as long as this game is competitive, they should both hit this number pretty easily. So, yeah, I like that. I actually might place that right now. DK locks tonight. I mean, I try to leave those for my Patreon members, but probably Dragic, Dinwiddie. I mean, like the obvious guys. And I just really feel like Graham's going to have a really solid game, even with Ingram. I mean, his assist opportunities are just going to plummet. I mean, he could definitely have a good game. I mean, Ingram being back can help him in some instances, but definitely a downgrade with him being back. Zubats or Williams? Going to be Williams for me, assuming Al Horford is out. But, you know, both those games are later, so we'll be able to pivot correctly. Because if I might still prefer Williams regardless. I still think that Williams' minutes are trending upwards, even with Al Horford. The last two games, they have closed with Robert Williams over Al Horford, so worth noting. Center for cash, I mean, like J-Val, Zubats, Robert Williams, especially if Al Horford is out. All right, Wendell Carter. Carter, Williams, and Jr. When Carter Jr. and Williams are J-Val and Neto DK cash, that's tough. Yeah, that's tough. Probably the J-Val side. Because when do those games start? So yeah, you're going to have to make that decision now. I'd probably go with the J-Val side, play it safe, unless within the next 17 minutes we get news that Al Horford is out. Because if Al Horford plays, I don't want that. Max Holloway defeats Jair Rodriguez by unanimous decision. Can't believe I missed this fight. God, not good. I'm out early tonight, man. Thanks again for all the help. And as always, let's get it, Brandon. Making me want a Coke now. Dude, Coke Zero is the move. I go through these things like way too much. Do you like Dylan Brooks tonight? He has been getting run in the G League. Yeah, but they already said that he's going to be limited again to mid-20s minutes, so I'm not really on him. He's going to shoot a lot while he's out there. When Dylan Brooks is fully healthy, man, he is going to shoot a ton. I know we were talking about back-to-backs again, but leaning maybe a sit for Al Horford, yeah. Yeah, no, that's I think the same thing. I think Al Horford, especially with his age, that and the Thunder sat him all last year on back-to-backs. They sat him already once this year for rest on the second leg of a back-to-back. I think this is a good opportunity for them to rest him. Jalen Suggs. Yeah, so Jalen Suggs, I mean, he still leads that team with usage. The minutes are just like all over the place. It's really hard for him to get minutes. At 4,200, I mean, the opportunities are definitely there. And he's just like so cheap that even if he plays 25 minutes, he could like be serviceable. But man, yeah. And one of the reasons why his usage is so high is because he turns the ball over so damn much. Maxey or Russell? Going to be Russell for me. Williams needs the 5 blocks and 10 plus rebounds. I mean, he could definitely get there with no Horford. Cedi Osman, yeah. So they ran an 8-man rotation last time. Now Dean Wade is out. So actually, is it Dean Wade or Lamar Stevens? I think it's Stevens. Yeah, Lamar Stevens is out now. So that opens up even more minutes. So it should be a short 8-man rotation. I'm expecting Cedi Osman to play like low 20s minutes, but became a lot less interesting since we already have Neto and Goran Dragic, who are pretty much like the bare minimum. Really opens things up. And there's really nobody on this slate that's super expensive. So you don't really need to play a guy like Cedi Osman. Richardson ruled out. Yep. Last question, Birch and D'Lo or KCP and Rob will probably lean one. Yeah, probably lean one. Yeah. Unless you get news that Al Horford's out, which we're not going to get soon. So, got to make that decision now. Tatum, Dragic, or George and Neto. Let's go with George and Neto there. D'Lo, Zubats will switch to Schroeder Williams if Horford is out. Yeah, I love that. And I love that switch too. That's a good setup. Allen or Trez, Jared Allen for me. Got my GPP line, Ja, Edwards, Dragic, PG-13, Boucher, Terrence Ross, Zubats, Robert Williams, assuming Horford is out. I can get behind that. I'm not really a T-Ross guy this year, but I think Boucher definitely has upside. You know, if he can get minutes over Birch, I think that's definitely a viable lineup. Trent or Smart on FanDuel. I probably lean Trent now with no Fred VanVleet. Dragic get upper 20 minutes of play tonight. I think so. I think that we're looking at like 26, 28 minutes with upside of like 30, 32 minutes. But I definitely just don't really see him, assuming the game's competitive, him playing any less than 4 6-minute stints. And that's 24 minutes. And that's plenty for him. Like plenty for him at his price. He's an elite per minute producer. He like runs the offense. Especially, it's not like he's starting next to Fred VanVleet. He's starting instead of Fred VanVleet. So he's like really the only ball handler out there when they're playing. So I mean, Dragic is in just like an amazing spot right now. D'Lo or Mobley in utility. I'm gonna go with D'Lo there. How about TJ McConnell with Karis LeVert back? Even though LeVert is limited, but all they said his limitation was that he's not going to play high 30s minutes. So he's probably going to play like 30, 32 minutes. We've already seen that so far this year. So I'm out on TJ McConnell. It could bite me in the ass. I don't think people are going to play him. I know his game log is absurd, but all those games either had Malcolm Brogdon or Karis LeVert out. So both those guys are back now, and they should be playing both of them 30-plus minutes. So I'm not really on McConnell. 3% LaMelo won me money last time. Let's go, man. Yeah, playing guys like LaMelo and Luka Doncic on big slates where they're like 5% owned is probably the route to go in tournaments. Thoughts on Steven Adams tonight? Yeah, so I mean, Steven Adams is priced way down to like $4,700. You would think that they would need his size to match up against Jonas Valanciunas. But we know that they prefer to have Jaren Jackson Jr. playing at the 5 rather than Steven Adams. They play much faster, a lot better offensively. But we saw against like Minnesota, against Karl-Anthony Towns, who is a better offensive player than Jonas Valanciunas, and they only played him 19 minutes. And that was a game they were winning. So if they're only playing him 19 minutes against Cat, I have no confidence in what they're going to play him in against the Pelicans. So yeah, definitely a wait and see approach for me with Steven Adams right now. I'm not messing around with him, even with his price down here at 4,600. Give us Al at 7:58 Eastern time. I'll take that for sure. Who are Allen on Prize Picks? Mobley? I don't know who Wander is. I'm trying to think of who that could possibly mean. He blowing Jazz out, are they? That's crazy. Without Jimmy Butler. Mitchell not having a very good game. Wow. 21-point game. That is absurd. Yeah, Gobert. Man. Not a very good game out of the Jazz. What's going on, John? Beverly, Schroeder, Wagner, Hart, Zubats, Cunningham, Edwards, Morant. Very tournament-heavy approach there. Don't mind it. With Goga, does Turner get more run? I think what ends up happening, I don't think he gets very much more run. I think what ends up happening is that Sabonis is going to get more run at the 5, and that's going to open up more wing minutes for guys like Justin Holiday and like Torrey Craig and stuff. But I don't, and Jeremy Lamb, I don't think that it really affects all that much. Goga wasn't playing very much. Tatum, a decent play. Yeah, I think Tatum's fine. In that price range, I'm getting to Paul George over Tatum. They're pretty much the same price. Only a $200 difference. Could you fade Dinwiddie? I'm not fading Dinwiddie today. Still like Boucher. I'm not really on Boucher. Boucher is like a complete tournament dart. Like so much volatility in that play. Like with Ken Birch back and Siakam playing, like I don't know really where he's getting his minutes. I mean, he's gonna get back up 5 minutes, and that's pretty. I mean, he gets a back up 4 minutes too. So. I mean, he could wind up playing like 20 minutes. Definitely possible, but I just don't really see it. Last line, for real, I got Ja, Trent Jr., Bev, PG-13, Wendell Carter, T. Ross, Robert Williams, Zubats, and GPP logging off. Appreciate the help. I like that lineup. Let's go. Appreciate you being here, man. Joval or Drummond? Give me Joval for me. Oh, Andre Franco. Are you swapping off of Time Lord if Horford is in? I will be switching off of Robert Williams if Horford is in, correct. 5.7K pivot from Ty Lord if Horford is in. Let's take a look. Just like a direct pivot. I'm assuming you have him, but he's center only. So if you're just looking for a center, it's going to become a bit more difficult because most of my spots are filled up. I would probably just go straight down to Ivica Zubac, and I would feel good about it too. Is OG worth the price on DK? Probably not. Probably not. Al Horford officially ruled out. I'm really just feeling myself today, man. That was easy. Lock in Al Horford, or lock in Robert Williams, rather. Cool. That was easy. Carter and Mobley. I'd probably lean Carter right there. Let's go ahead and take the over on Robert Williams here before they end up changing it. Let's take that with a Joe Val. Let's take that with Joe Val over. So I'm taking Robert Williams over 34 fantasy points as well as Jonas Valanciunas 40 fantasy points. Let's get it. Before they change it, my God. They've been a lot quicker with taking players off the board as soon as news comes out. Cool. Yeah, I really don't think that Brandon Ingram being in, especially on a minutes restriction, deserves to give Jonas Valanciunas a bump down from 44 fantasy points to 40 fantasy point projection over on PrizePicks. Dinwiddie, Brooks, PG. Well, Brooks is on a minutes restriction, just to let you know. But, I mean, he will check while he's out there. I like that lineup. I mean, Carter and Mobley, Carter for me. Tracy McGrady or Vince Carter. Oh, I'm a big Tracy fan, so gotta be Tracy for me. Time Lord to the next galaxy. Absolutely. Stoops, I appreciate all the time and the work, man. Yeah, no problem, man. I mean, you guys keep coming back. I'm gonna keep coming back here every single day. I have yet to miss a day, which, if you guys know me, I mean, that's pretty damn rare. So I'm trying to go the entire season, no days off. You know, we'll blow up. We're gonna go big time. You guys are here at the ground level, so appreciate you guys being here. Dinwiddie and Osman or Trent and Zubac. Gonna be, man, I don't really want Osman. Probably Trent and Zubac for me, to be honest. Best forward under 3,800 gonna be Osman for me. Thoughts on Osman? Yeah, Osman's probably the forward sub 3.8K there. Not really on Okoro, Smart, or Trent Jr. I like Trent more. Dragic, Morant, Trent, Dinwiddie, Kuzma, Harris, Carter, Williams, Mobley, Fanduel, single entry thoughts. Carter, Williams, that's funny. Do like that though. Oh, here comes Brian again. PG and Dragic or Tatum and Schroeder. Definitely PG and Dragic for me. Thoughts on 6K forward on FanDuel. Let's take a look. 5 to 6K forwards. Wendell Carter is 6,000 for sure. Yeah, no problem, Eric. Gafford, Adams, or Mann. I'd probably go with Adams right there. Kuzma or Wendell. That's close. Honestly, I'd probably go Wendell there. That's tough though. Dennis get a boost. Yeah, Dennis gets an assist opportunity boost for sure without Al Horford. Just one less facilitator out there. Yeah, the FanDuel lineup today on Patreon is going to go just absolutely nuclear. Reggie Jackson or Schroeder? Definitely Schroeder now. Yeah, Schroeder is definitely like my preference in that range. Edit my own lineups real quick. Yeah, no problem, Charlie. Danny Green or Osman? Gonna be Osman for me. Swap OG Neto for Time Lord Smart on DK Cash now with Celtics news. Yeah, I'd prefer the Time Lord side. Not Neto is a sleeper for tonight. Is Neto a sleeper? If Neto is low owned, I'm very pleased with that. Boucher love, it's all right. All 23 enters should be the Patreon again. Coming in first. Let's get it, man. You know, if you guys are rocking the new logo, you guys should be doing that. Or if you guys want to, I'm gonna throw it in the NBA tab right now. If you guys want to rock this tonight on Draftkings, FanDuel, wherever you play. I just dropped the logo in there. Schroeder, Garland, or Mobley. Gonna be Schroeder for me. Grant Williams viable. Yeah, Grant Williams is definitely a lot more viable with Al Horford officially out. Favorite value play from the Celtics? I guess you're assuming. I'm assuming you're not talking about Robert Williams as a value play. Probably Grant Williams, though. You know, he's just now getting the start. So yeah, probably Grant Williams right there. No Josh Richardson as well. The minutes should be there for him, for sure. Best pay-ups today, definitely Jonas Valanciunas and Paul George. Oh yeah, I'll drop it in the Patreon right now. Actually, the logo if you guys want to rock it. Who should be center on FanDuel? I like Jonas a ton over there. We got 45 seconds, guys. KCP or Okoro. I'm going to go with KCP there. I think his minutes are a bit more secure. Celtics will start Dennis Schroeder, Marcus Smart, Jason Tatum, Grant Williams, and Robert Williams. Grant Williams is starting. Yep. All right, guys. It is lock time. I'm going to sit around here for like 30 seconds to make sure my timer goes over an hour. Kuzma viable? Yeah, Kuzma is more than viable. Kuzma, amazing play today. But it's already lock time. He's already locked up. All right, guys, but I appreciate you guys being here. Tomorrow's Sunday, NFL Sunday. NFL Sundays are the best days to be playing NBA DFS, in my opinion. You know, I think most people are focused on NFL. Me, I don't really pay attention to NFL. at all during the NBA season. So I kind of just get by with my season log teams, and that's about it. And I just really focus on NBA on Sundays. So, you know, a lot to take advantage of. Let's see how many games there are tomorrow, actually. All right, cool. Nice. It's going to end up being either a 5-game slate or a 6-game slate. So cool amount for me. Going to be easy to digest. But if you guys haven't done so already, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Likes are also very greatly appreciated.